You know, being up 3-1 it's a really good feeling. Remind me not to do that with a thin pick again. Thin picks from fucking, what is it? Fender. Really good for wow. These kind of picks really good for like alternate picking. Not very good for just plucking. Very they kind of suck. But in any case, Bruins fans, it is time to hug it out, because that is a 6-2 victory in Game 4 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Florida Panthers. God damn, this was a good one. This was a good one. This was a game that had two key absences for both teams. First of all, we know that Bergeron and Krejci are out. That's an anchor that the Bruins have to bear for this game. It does seem like Bergeron is trending to being back on Wednesday for Game 5. It does not look like that for Krejci, unfortunately. But on the Panthers side, not only is Aaron Ekblad out, the player with the most time on ice for of any skater on the Panthers this season, is if I'm not mistaken, like most time on ice per game. But also Anthony Duclair, and Anthony Duclair, he's a pretty key part of that team. So, 2-1 series is after just getting butt blasted in Game 3. What do you think is the Panthers' strategy for this one? Throughout this entire game, the Panthers had this air of, we know we're not going to win this series. We're not going to win the series. Let's just accept that. But what if we took a pound of flesh on the way down? Now, on the one hand, I'm not really faulting the Panthers for playing this way. This is a sort of tactic that most teams that recognize that they're on the losing, that they're fighting a losing battle, will do. They're like, okay, we're not going to win. Let's just cause general shenanigans after every single whistle. But this game really made me despise Matthew Tkachuk with every fiber of my being. But credit to the Panthers, they actually started out on the on the upside of this game. Before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe. It's a good way to help me grow this channel, especially because the algorithm is kind of kicking my ass. Anyway, puck drops, and the Panthers, like I said, they come out of the gate really, really well. Throughout the first 9 minutes of the game, the Bruins do not register a single shot on net, and the Panthers register 10. However, it really feels like the majority of those 10 shots on goal the Panthers have are just they aren't like genuine shots on. They're not like high danger shots on goal. The only one that I can really see was a high danger opportunity was Carter Verhaeghe entering the zone off a really bad turnover at the bottom of the neutral zone. Carter Verhaeghe entering an offensive zone, passing across the ice to Sam Reinhart, and freaking Linus Ullmark does a bear lunge at him. The puck does a bear lunge at Reinhart. The puck bounces off his helmet. I honestly thought it bounced out of his glove. That was insane, and it's why Ullmark is so good. Or rather, it's why Bruins fans like Ullmark. However, I feel like there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had in here. It is standard practice to roll with one goalie throughout the entire playoffs, unless you absolutely feel the need to switch up goalies. which is why Allmark has played every single bit of the past few of the prior 3 games for this series. However, I feel like there might need to be an exception made here. Now, granted, Allmark had a fantastic game. Allmark had a brilliant game. I think honestly his best game of the series. I think honestly, considering that we just won the that he and Swayman just took home the William Jennings Trophy for best goalie tandem in the league. I feel like it wouldn't be too bad to see them switch off one like two or 3 games on for Allmark, 1 game on for Swayman. I feel like there's definitely an argument to be made for that. I know playoffs is a very different fucking beast, but the way I see it is like with baseball during the postseason, you don't put the during the postseason for baseball, you don't put you don't say, hey, let's put our same starting pitcher out 3 games in a row. You don't even put them out 2 nights in a row. You put them on and then give them like 3 or 4 games rest. I feel like there's an argument to be made about that the Bruins could potentially do a goalie tandem for these playoffs. Both Allmark and Swayman have shown that they are more than capable of pulling their own weight in critical situations this season, and I think, and especially last season during the playoffs, Swayman was pretty much the reason why we went to Game 7. I think honestly, you can. There's an argument to be made that we can have a tandem in the playoffs. But in any case, so let's actually get on to the rest of the game. So for the first 9 minutes, the Bruins don't register a single shot on goal. Well, then in the last 11 seconds, and then in the next 11 seconds following that, the Bruins have like their first major burst of offense with Taylor Hall going behind the net, and with Taylor Hall and the rest of the third line, which for this game is I think Hall, Frederick, and Foligno. They go behind in the net and muck some stuff up, and it ends with Taylor Hall getting cross-checked by Colin White. So the Bruins are on the power play, and unlike the Panthers, they do not seem keen on doing the whole, hey, let's go an entire playoffs, let's win an entire playoff series without scoring a goal on the power play, because the Bruins get a very, very good rush on the first right off the gate, and a loose puck ends up right in Bobrovsky's crotch, and Marchand just pokes it through. And finally, the Bruins beat the whistle. A whistle was blown about when this was happening, and a linesman waved it off as it was happening, like a little bit after it happened, but finally the replay shows that hey, we finally beat the whistle. Bruins are up 1-0. And the Bruins go from having 0 shots in the first 9 minutes of the game to having 11 in the next 6. 11 shots on goal in the next 6 minutes. Now, Jake DeBrusk ends up going down the tunnel for repairs after a rough hit, after a rough friendly fire hit. It's unfortunate, but hey, that's not the last we hear from DeBrusk today. Now, the Bruins end up getting a really strong shift in the offensive zone, but it ends up with Zacha going for roughing against Ryan Lomberg after he cross checks him really up high. let's be honest, it's nothing that Ryan Lomberg isn't used to. I mean, this is a guy that got kicked out of UMaine's hockey program for because he got an assault charge. I know that was freaking 10 years ago at this point, but still, it's funny that Panthers fans will look at Lomberg as this guy who can do no wrong when he has very clearly done wrong in the past. Bruins are insane on the penalty kill as usual. Absolutely love the McAvoy hit on Tkachuk, by the way. Tkachuk just gets absolutely leveled by McAvoy. Bruins kill the penalty. And in the last minute, like after the whistle, actually, the dead play is behind the Panthers net. Garnet Hathaway up against the boards. You know what Matthew Tkachuk decides to do? I'm gonna cross-check Brady Tkachuk. I'm gonna cross-check Garnet Hathaway, like right under the pads, right in the ribs. Fuck Matthew Tkachuk. Look, this ends up with Hathaway really slow to get up. The trainer ends up on the ice. It's a mess. It's not a mess that needs to be cleaned up. No blood was spilled, but still, that was fucking scummy. Considering that like all of the after whistle shenanigans this series have been caused by the Panthers. I'm fully happy with saying Tkachuk is an asshole on here. And hey, the Bruins end up starting the second period on the power play because of this. It looks really bad, except for the last like 10 seconds of it, where we score on it. Taylor Hall on the rush finds Dmitry Orlov, who's wide open. Orlov on the one-timer shoots up to the centers the pass to DeBrusk, who's just right up the middle to tap it in behind Bobrovsky. That is 2-0. That is tic-tac-toe, my guy. Second period is a little bit slower. The only other thing that's really notable is Omar gets a little bit discombobulated at the end, because on a play the puck looks like it's going to go around the net, go around the back of the net, but it ends up getting caught on the actual netting itself. Tkachuk ends up taking the puck down with the stick and pushing it in past Omar. Honestly, that's no one's fault. That's no one's fault. That's just come on. that is just how do you prepare for that? So we end up in the third period. Charlie Coyle from up high, he circles back around and to set himself up for this. He fires up high, and Burt bats it down low. And it goes right through Bobrovsky's legs, and that is 3-1 for the Bruins. And then the Bruins end up getting worked on a Foligno high-sticking penalty kill. Panthers get 7 shots on goals. And Omar he's trying to save everything, but he can't save everything on this one. And he ends up sliding out of the crease. He's to the side enough for Sam Bennett to pick up a rebound and pot the 3-2 goal. But the Bruins aren't done yet. This isn't like Game 3 where the Bruins get out to a really good start and then kind of cave in the last few minutes, but still hold on for the lead, for the win. And Hall ends up Hall on another really good entry. Taylor Hall, probably the best Bruin on the ice tonight. And I know Charlie Coyle, there's an argument to be made there. He was Coyle in Bergeron and Krejci's absence has been absolutely amazing. I think honestly, if I don't want to say anything, but if we end up next season without Bergeron or Krejci, I feel fine saying Charlie Coyle 1C. I feel fine saying Charlie Coyle 1C. But yeah, Hall had a great game. Coyle had a great game. Carlo, fantastic. Carlo, this may have been one of the best games he's had all season. DeBrusk, also an amazing game. But we'll get. And speaking of which, Taylor Hall on this one sets up a perfect pass for Zacha. Backhand pass across the ice. Zacha on the one-timer right into Bobrovsky's glove, but Bobrovsky drops it. And it lands right at Jake DeBrusk's feet to just tap it in for the 4-2. I like Jake DeBrusk. McAvoy and Matthew Tkachuk end up going for slashing each other. This is about when and you start to realize, okay, the Panthers know they're not going to win this, so they're trying to fuck us up so that we're hobbled for the rest of the playoffs. Montour ends up adding his own penalty to the fray a minute into the 4-on-4, going for interference against Pastrnak. All the penalties die here. Honestly, the Bruins didn't look that great on this power play, but afterwards, Bruins are fine. Bruins are just fine. You know why? Did you know that Taylor Hall is a Boston Bruin? I don't think you know that Taylor Hall is a Boston Bruin. Do I need to remind you that Taylor Hall is a Boston Bruin? Ullmark passes, taps the puck to Nosek. Nosek does the Orlov thing and launches it in from like the face-off dot into the far end of the neutral zone. Hall picks it up and just bursts past the defenseman and just does not even try to, just does not even acknowledge him. Other than just bringing my stick around, and he dekes Bobrovsky into next Sunday, bringing him over here, taking it back and backhanding it into the net. That is 5-2. And speaking of 5, you know what time it is. It is the 4-150 final 5, everybody. The Panthers end up pulling Bobrovsky with like 3:45 left. But it's not. But that's not the most important thing in here. There is a full team scrum after Matthew Tkachuk cross checks Ullmark, and it almost results in Ullmark trying to fight Matthew Tkachuk, and I hate the refs here. I hate the refs. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook Tkachuk's shit. Let Linus Ullmark go absolutely bananas on Matthew Tkachuk. It would just be incredible. But that would be the end of Linus Ullmark's night for a rule that I did not know existed. Apparently, if you punch someone with your blocker, which is something that Linus Ullmark apparently did to Matthew Tkachuk, you get a game misconduct for the rest. You get a game misconduct, and so for the rest of the game, Jeremy Swayman was in net, and honestly, that's fine. I like seeing Swayman in net. Like, I'm sorry, what am I supposed to say about everything that happened at 16:49? Bruins killed a penalty that apparently Hall and Pastrnak served. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But what I do know happened is Jacob Lauko contributing to what I think is his first point what I think is the first point that Jacob Lauko has had as in his playoff career. He takes a clear, I forget from who, into the offensive zone and centers the pass to Taylor Hall. And Taylor Hall, I need to read what the hell Jack Edwards said here. and I'm doing it through one of my best friends on hockey Twitter, Mercy. Mercy explains it as dagger through the heart and into the table, and the cadaver is dead for today. Sounds like the top count on those book talk posts that are like, what would be the last line if you wrote a book? Not play-by-play commentary on a hockey game. What Jack Edwards means to say is that Hall just pots the empty netter. 6-2, and that's it. That's it. We sweep down in front in Florida. And so it's back to TD Garden on Wednesday. Thank God. Thank God it's on Wednesday, because on Tuesday I'm going to the 100 Gex concert, and that would be hard to see both. But it's 3-1 series. Time to put the cat down. And it's also time for me to put this video down. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care.